Have you noticed that in the last several years, there have been so many small, trendy bags? Bags that are so cute because they are so small and can fit so few things. Now, if you're anything like me, these bags are almost impossible to use because I am anxious and I like to carry as many things as possible wherever I am going. I wish I could be one of these small purse girlies who just carries like a credit card, a phone, and a lipstick and just heads out the door, but unfortunately, that is never going to be me. So, I've recently compiled a list of questions that I ask myself and things to do so that I can ensure that I'm carrying as few things as possible when I'm traveling around, whether it's just to go to the park or whether it's going on vacation in Europe. These are the things that I ask myself to ensure that I'm not carrying too much stuff in my purse. The first thing that I'm really thinking about is redundancy. So, am I carrying multiples of the same thing in my purse? I used to have this problem where I would carry my AirPods and my wired headphones because I like using my AirPods for my phone, but I like using my wired headphones for my laptop, and I would carry both things. But is it really necessary for me to carry both things? I can actually use my AirPods for my laptop, so why am I carrying both? And so I would apply this question to all of the items in my purse. So, do I really need hand sanitizer and cleansing wipes? Even though they act for different purposes, I would actually prefer hand wipes, so I should carry that instead of the hand sanitizer. And I think that it's important to ask this question, especially for the types of days that you're having. So, especially on like a hike, I'm not going to have the chance to use hand wipes as often as I can use hand sanitizer. So, I will carry that instead of the hand wipes on a hike. But on an everyday kind of in the city moment, I actually prefer hand wipes, so I will carry that instead. The redundancy rule is really hard to let go of because an anxious mind will try to find a way for you to justify having as many things as possible. So that kind of leads into the second thing I do. The second question that I ask myself is this available at the location that I'm going to? Let's go back to my previous example of going on a hike. When I'm hiking, for sure, there are no bathrooms, no places to clean my hands if I accidentally touch something gross. So, yes, having hand sanitizer and having hand wipes can be helpful, especially if I'm trying to touch my face or eat some food. I want to have clean hands. However, if I'm just going out to dinner with the girls, I don't need hand wipes and hand sanitizer. There is for sure going to be a restaurant where I can wash my hands. And then I think to myself, oh, but what if I ride the subway? My hands are going to be so gross. Okay, but do I have to eat anything on the subway? No. I can take the subway to the restaurant and then wash my hands before I have dinner so that I don't carry any of that gross subway germs on me. I like to think about what I'm planning ahead and use that as a way to combat my anxiety. I think previously I used my anxiety to overthink situations and then bring too much stuff. But actually, I can use that anxiety to pack less. The third question, I think, is even a little bit harder than that. It's asking yourself, what happens if I don't have this item? So I don't know why, but when I first started dating my boyfriend, I would always pack my AirPods in my bag as if for whatever reason there would be a situation where he's going to leave me alone and I'm going to have to listen to music, which never occurred. So then I began to ask myself, what would happen if I didn't bring my AirPods when I was going on a date? What would happen if I didn't bring my AirPods when I was going for a run? It wouldn't be as bad as I think it is. Like, oh, I would just have to be alone with my thoughts. Or, oh, I would just have to listen to music out loud. And it's really never that bad. There are some things that, you really cannot go outside without. Like, for instance, your phone, you might absolutely need it, your wallet, your keys, because you can't get back to your house. So, if these are things that are absolutely essential, of course, pack them. But if you think about what would happen if you didn't bring your lip gloss one day, it's really not the end of the world. I do this a lot when I'm traveling because I'm always worried about, oh, what if I forget to bring my moisturizer on my trip to Paris? It literally is not the end of the world because I can just go to the nearest drugstore and get a moisturizer, probably one that's even better than the one that I'm using. If I forget my eyeliner, I can stop by the store. If I forget my Advil, I can stop by the store. It's literally never the end of the world unless it's the very few key items that you absolutely need. The fourth thing I think about in order to reduce the clutter in my bag is how can I split this? How can I make it even smaller? So, something I like to think about is who am I going on this trip with? If I'm going to the beach with my boyfriend, I'll say, hey, you bring the towels, I'll bring the sunblock. And that way, we don't each have to carry a bunch of stuff. I love to do this with my mom. I ask her, hey, are you bringing wet wipes? And she'll say yes. And then I don't have to pack my own. And this is really only the case for when you're being with somebody, but even if you're alone and you have like a massive pack of wet wipes, how can I reduce that? How can I get a smaller travel size to fit in my purse? I like to do this with like things like hand sanitizer. I find the smallest hand sanitizer I can find, and that's what I put in my purse because I do not need a massive bulky thing if it's something that I'm maybe or maybe not even going to use. This is especially why I love carrying a card case as opposed to a wallet because I actually rarely ever carry cash and I definitely do not carry coins. So having a card case with just my cards and my ID is always enough for me. And especially now that I pay often with my phone, it's like I only really need to carry my ID just to get through most situations. And the last thing that I do is set out a regular cleaning schedule. So this might seem ridiculous to some people. If you're not an over anxious packer, like this seems like way too much, but this is something that I personally do that I recommend to people who overthink and pack too much in their bag. If you have an everyday bag, you know that sometimes by the end of the week, it has just everything under the sun in there. I found this particularly true when I was carrying a tote bag. Like on Monday and Tuesday, it would be light. And then as the days go on, I add in more lipsticks. I add in a book. I add in more sunglasses. And then by Saturday, I'm looking at the tote bag and it's weighing me down because there's just so much stuff in there. So I like to set aside time every week or 2 weeks where I just clean out my regular everyday bag and make sure that I don't have more stuff in there than I need. I'll toss out any of like my old receipts or used tissues or other gross stuff. And then I'll assess whether I still need this stuff. So, for instance, in the winter, I was carrying mittens because I really love carrying mittens. And then it started to get warm, and I looked in my bag and I still had mittens in there. So, that's when I would just like filter through and make sure I really need the stuff for this coming week. And then just make sure I put them back where I can find them and that my bag is just as minimal as possible. With that being said, I will now show you what's in my bag. I know you might be thinking, hey, Sue, that's actually not a teeny tiny bag. No, it's not. But this is as small as I can get for an everyday bag because I have a lot of stuff in here. And you'll see, I pack this thing to the brim. The other day, my friend was saying that this is so much heavier than she thought. Yes, because I have a lot of stuff in here and I actually use all of them all the time. So I'll show you what's in here right now. This mic is new for me, so you can see that I'm struggling a little bit, but I'll show you what's in here. First things first, hair tie. When I was having short hair, I never carried a hair tie, but now that my hair is a little bit longer, I like having a hair tie or like a clip like this in my bag. I usually carry just like a something small that I can like squish up and put in my bag, and something that I am not going to be sad about if I lose one day on the subway or on the streets. Next thing I have in here is a pen. You'll be surprised how often you are like in need to write something. And so I don't carry like a pad anymore, but I do carry a pen just in case I need to like write down something real quick. And this is a really light pen, it's small, and so it fits perfectly in my purse. Next, of course, lip product. So I try to limit the number of lip products I have on any given day to just two. So one that is hydrating and one that adds some color. So right now, the one that adds some color in my life is this Hermes lip oil that I've been using. I love this. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this one, but this feels luxurious. It's in my purse. Next, a pack of tissues. I know this is not for everyone, but this is for me because I'm a snotty girl. I get all sorts of gunk in my nose and I need to clean it out as often as possible. So this is where tissues come in handy. I really like the flat looking packs. I don't know why I couldn't get them at Target this time. So I ended up getting this one, which I don't like as much, but it's helpful. And people are always surprised that I have this in my bag because they'll be like, oops, I spilled something. And I'll be like, I got you, girl. Next to my purse, classic, a portable charger. What I like about this one is that it has this port installed with it so that I don't have to carry a cord. And so that's like another thing. If I have to carry two things to make one thing happen, like if I have to carry a portable charger with a cord, like that's just too much. So I got this one, it's from Amazon. What I like about this one is that it can pretty much give me like 2.5 charges on my phone, so I don't need to charge it like every single day in order for it to have full battery. And it's fairly light. Of course, I have my keys. I'm not going to show you my real keys, but this is what my keys look like. And then, of course, my wallet. As I said, I like to use card wallets because it's slim. And I do carry a couple dollars of cash in here. But generally, I just use my cards and I carry my ID, and that's enough for me. And then lastly, I have this pouch. And so this pouch carries like all my other little essentials. This is actually a Majuri little bag. I love the little bags that your jewelry comes in. I also love like duster bags from like designer purses. I just feel like those bags are so great and so good to use. So if you ever come to my house, you'll see I have a million of these jewelry bags that I just repurpose for all sorts of things. And so, especially for my purse, I like to keep a little bit of my toiletries in here. That way that they're not like rolling around in my purse. And then if someone looks in my bag, they're not like, hey, I see your tampons. Like, that's in here. So I'll show you what's in here right now. So first, as I said, emergency tampon. And then I have Band-Aids. So I tend to wear really uncomfortable shoes. So every so often I'll get a blister. And so the Band-Aid is helpful there. And then, as I mentioned, I love having small things. So this is actually the smallest hand sanitizer that I could find that is not like disgusting. So this one is like a lot smaller than my hand, as you can see. And it's from literally just CVS branded and it smells like aloe. I love, love, love the really cute hand sanitizers. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of the packaging, so I like using this one because it's really small and it fits even in this little jewelry purse. Next, we have my lip product. So this is the lip product that I'm using right now for hydration. So earlier I mentioned I use one for hydration and one for color. And so this is the one I'm using just to keep my lips looking fresh. And then I have things for like oral care. You might not have noticed, but I actually have a palette expander and I have Invisalign. So my teeth always look kind of gross. And so I actually am a fan of keeping my teeth healthy and looking clean. So that's what I carry in this little pouch. You'll see that I have a toothbrush. So this is the smallest toothbrush I could find, really. It's not that big, but I like that it's pink also because it's so cute. I'll carry this toothbrush and I will sometimes just do a dry brush, meaning just like water to get like any gunk out of there. Or sometimes I will actually use toothpaste. Look at how small this toothpaste is. It's smaller than the hand sanitizer. And you might be wondering, where did I get this? Actually, every time I go to a hotel, I ask them, do you have toothpaste? And they'll give me like a little bottle like this that you can use like 2 or 3 times. And I keep that in my purse because it's just in handy every so often. Like, I am such a fan of like stinky foods. Like, I love onions, I love garlic, but sometimes my mouth is gross. I love the fact that, like, in Korea, after you have lunch, it's acceptable to brush your teeth in the office. I think that should be acceptable everywhere because you don't want to go around with your stinky breath. Just brush your teeth lightly, not like the full thing, just very lightly rinse your mouth, get it clean. On that note, the last thing in here is this floss. This is the smallest floss that I can find. And where did I get this? I got it from my dentist. Every time I go to the dentist, I say, hey, can I have one of those little floss packs? And this is what they give me. I actually prefer the string floss as opposed to the floss picks. And so this is what I carry. It is so small. It's like the size of my eye. So I like carrying this. I do like flossing. I find it so embarrassing when I have something stuck in my teeth, and I just like having a clean mouth. So this is what's in my bag. So yeah, as you can see, I carry kind of a lot of stuff in my bag, and this has all just been like meticulously thought out. Every time I travel, I make sure that I'm carrying a purse where every item has a purpose. And in that sense, I feel so much lighter on my trip because I'm not being weighed down by having too much stuff. I love that, like, Amazon and Temu can get you things that you don't normally always have very quickly, but it ends up creating a lot of clutter for people, and that can actually bring you more anxiety than having less stuff. So, I hope that this was helpful in just ensuring that you're having a bag that is just full of just the necessities so that you feel lighter throughout the day. Let me know if this was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. If you haven't noticed, I have this fun guy that I got for Christmas this year. He is a polar bear with a very small head and a big body, and I hope that he's in all of my videos from now on because he is so stinking cute. Also, this microphone, I'm such a fan.